Can be under subsection A. It requires a resident of Vermont, a resident who intends to operate a vehicle shall procure a proper license.
That is?
Subsection A.
Oh,
601.
601. Okay, we'll pause on that. And I'd like it noted that this is an entirely criminal action against me, that by this officer's statements, he's claiming that my motor vehicle is a type of vehicle that requires registration and that I would require a license to drive this motor vehicle. However, he's not able to state that it's a motor vehicle or what type of vehicle it is. And there's like a motor vehicle, I don't know, per that chapter of the law, is it's like cars, buses, trucks. Those are the type of motor vehicles. There's further definitions for motorcycle and for a motor-driven cycle, which it's actually covered under Section E. So where this ticket does not make argument about the section of the law, particular, the subsection, that I was forced to assume coming into this, that I don't know, there was that I was being charged with the whole of the chapter, which does not apply, obviously, because my car is, or my vehicle is not a car, it's not a bus, it's not a truck. It could be covered as a motorcycle or a motor-driven cycle, but it would require proof that it was a motorcycle or a motor-driven cycle, and they're covered under different chapters, and they have different requirements.
And you moved to dismiss earlier, indicating that, or arguing that your vehicle does not qualify. I believe that...
No. My argument is that there's been no proof presented that my vehicle qualifies.
I denied the motion to dismiss before. With respect to what I believe now your claim is...
The state has already made their case.
I believe that you're arguing that the state hasn't issued a complaint with enough specificity that you are on notice as to the charge that you need to be defending against. I believe that you've indicated that the complaint references both Chapter 9, but also specifically Section 601. I believe that is specific enough. So please continue.
Okay, in Section 601, is it the same that people be driving a motorcycle or that they be driving, or pardon, a motor-driven cycle, as has recently been codified by the Vermont State Legislature, or that they be driving a car? Is it different that they be driving a car or that they be driving a motor-driven cycle, which is loosely translated as a moped?
You're still required to have a driver's license to operate a motorcycle or moped, or motorcycle. You're required to have a motorcycle endorsement on your license.
Per 601, is it different? Is it a different subsection?
There's a different section for endorsements as far as requiring you to have a motorcycle endorsement if you're claiming what you're operating as a motorcycle. What the issue is that under 50 cc's, you do not require to have a motorcycle endorsement on your license, but the fact still stands that you don't have a license at all, which under 601, you are required to have a license to operate a motor vehicle.
What is the subsection of 601 under which that is covered?
Under A.
It is not under A.
Okay.
Motor-driven cycle, what is it covered under?
That's not what you're being charged with.
Okay, so you're claiming that my bicycle is a motor vehicle like a car or a truck or 18-wheeler?
Under the definition as the judge read to you, if it's the definition of a motor vehicle. Anything operated by other than muscular power, and then he read the exceptions. I'm not claiming it fits the definition of a motorcycle.
Okay, so you're not claiming that it fits the definition of a motorcycle. You're also not claiming that it fits the definition of a motor-driven cycle.
It fits the definition of a motor vehicle.
A motor vehicle, which I request a short recess, just like 5 minutes, so I can run over to the library and print up the section of the law so that I can I may come back and continue to argue this, because I know that under the under the section 601 that would require a person to have a license, that the section A refers to cars and trucks, and it does not refer to little bicycles, which has only recently been codified in 2010 by the Vermont State Legislature with the addition of a motor-driven cycle as a type of vehicle.
No, we're not going to take a recess.
Okay, well, I got a couple more questions. Why isn't subsection listed on the ticket that you claim I'm in violation of subsection A of 601?
Because it's just you're in violation of Title 23, Section 601.
Okay, you do see that there are 5 subsections in there?
I do.
Okay, so...
Mr. Kelly, you made your point. You made your point that the officer did not include the subsection.
Is that normal procedure for the subsection not to be listed?
It depends on the violation, but this is not.
Well, he charged me with a whole, what is it, a whole chapter or a whole section of law, which includes 5 different subsections. You're saying now, a minute ago you were saying it doesn't matter. Now you're saying that you concede that I have made the point that the 5 subsections, that they do matter, and that they pertain to different types of vehicles, of which my vehicle is obviously not a 601A type vehicle.
I understand. I'm just telling you to move on in terms of your question.
Okay,
Your argument afterward.
Can we have just a 30-second recess so that I can borrow a pen? Is there anybody who will lend me a pen in this room? Do you have a pen, sir?
Sure. Here you go.
Thanks. Can you read the 601 section of the law again?
I did read 601.
2023 VSA 601, the one that pertains to license.
Section 601 indicates a resident who intends to operate motor vehicles shall procure a proper license. A resident who has moved to the state or another jurisdiction with a valid license to operate motor vehicles under section 411 of this title shall procure a license within 60 days of moving to the state. Operator licenses shall not be issued to non-residents. All operator licenses issued under this chapter shall expire before years at midnight on the eve of the anniversary of the date of birth of the applicant at the end of the term for which they were issued. All junior operator licenses shall expire at midnight on the eve of the anniversary of the date of birth of the applicant at the end of the term for which they were issued. A person born February 29th shall, for the purposes of this section, be considered as born on March 1st. That's subsection A. Subsection B, the commissioner shall, at least 30 days before the birth anniversary of each operator license holder on which the license is scheduled to expire, and biannually, for each junior operator license holder, male first class, the licensee, an application for renewal of license. The person shall not operate a motor vehicle unless properly licensed. Subsection C, notwithstanding the provisions of this section, the licensee may request a 2-year license renewal. Subsection D, the commissioner may, in his or her discretion, determine that certain types of motor vehicles require that an operator possess specialized skill or knowledge to operate those vehicles so that the public safety may not be endangered. If the commissioner so determines, he or she may prescribe different classes of licenses for the operation of particular types of vehicles. The commissioner is authorized to make rules prescribing forms and procedures for applications, license classifications, restrictions, endorsements, examinations, driver training requirements, and disqualifications consistent with this title as necessary to carry out the provisions of this section. Subsection E, a motor-driven cycle may be operated only by a licensed driver at least 16 years of age.
Okay, that is not what I was looking for. Could you read to me the definition of motor vehicle?
Certainly. Motor vehicle shall include all vehicles propelled or drawn by power other than muscular power, except farm-tractors, vehicles running only on stationary rail tracks, motorized highway building equipment, road-making appliances, snowmobiles, or tracked vehicles, or electronic or electric personal assisted mobility devices. code?
Yes, I do actually. I have just a little bit more. I gotta find where I place this piece of paper though. Okay, this is, these are reviews for the vehicle that I have that are available on Amazon.com. Gave the motorcycle to my 6 and 8-year-old nephews. The brakes work good, but grabbed the rotors when they shouldn't, and so there was a little drag against the brakes that had to be worked out before the bike would go properly. All in all, a decent toy for the money. Nothing you would ever use for long trips in the dirt though, but is great to zip around paved roads for a 6 and 8-year-old. Seems to have plenty of power and runs for a long time on a proper charge. I would say it is worth the money without question, and I would purchase another one. This was a great purchase. This is a second review here. This was a great purchase for my 9-year-old.
Kelly.
The next one is an 8-year-old.
Kelly.
Yes.
Are you disputing that the vehicle is a motor vehicle? Is that why you're reading these reviews?
I'm disputing that there's a licensing requirement to ride a toy.
Okay. The vehicle in question, I assume from what you just read me, runs on battery?
I'm not gonna submit to. I understand that I have a right to silence.
No, you don't. This is not a criminal proceeding. Does the vehicle that you are operating on September 13th, the time?
Okay, I'll answer that as such.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Kelly, please answer my question.
Possibly.
It runs on battery?
Possibly.
Were you pedaling it?
Nope. I was not pedaling it.
Does it have a pedal?
Does it have a pedal? Possibly.
Possibly. How do you normally operate the vehicle?
I sit on it
What
and I
power-
ride.
What powers the vehicle?
What powers the vehicle?
Yes.
I'm not some type of great mechanic. You know, my dad, he was an engineer. And
Did you
I
put gas in it?
say that again?
Do you put gas in the vehicle?
No.
Does it run on battery?
I am not a mechanic. I cannot speak to the particulars of my vehicle regarding as to how it is that the vehicle operates.
Do you power it by pedaling it?
No, no.
Okay. I don't think that those reviews are going to help me in any way to establish whether or not you are driving a motor vehicle and whether or not you possess insurance, a license, or registration.
Okay. Well,
So please move on.
yep. Does the officer and does this court find that it is a good use of police resources to be chasing down 8 and 9-year-olds on dead-end streets who are just simply going about in circles
Mr. Kelly,
in front of their home?
Mr. Kelly, that has no relevance